Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the reading called Help Me Help Myself. Embrace being the black sheep, breaking free and becoming solid within. And really it's kind of like a self-healing session actually, and it really boils down to a self-growth session, really. When you start healing yourself and being yourself, that actually creates personal growth in this three-dimensional world. So remember, take the reading as it resonates, and remember each reading can be reversed or mirrored. Take it as it lands, and it's for every level of state of aware of consciousness, etc. Okay? Anyway, we will begin with our reading. So this was actually, normally I just do 3 cards, but there was 2 that came out of this pile, so I left them. That actually came out twice, the Miracles card. So, and that's, you can't get a better card than that, right? So this card, first of all, the capacity to love. So again, I always pick one from the Ganesha deck. And remember, the Ganeshas, the elephants, are this symbol or the symbolic meaning of removing roadblocks, obstacles, hurdles out of your path in life, right? It's kind of, blow the doors off any problems, anybody blocking, making problems, causing problems, blockages, any sort of hurdles that give you troubles, that create delays or stops or going backwards in life. So basically, like I said, it's the Ganesha is blowing the obstacles away and out of life, clearing the path so you can move forward, okay? So we have number 34, the capacity to love. So that is actually loving the self, having a good relationship with self. But really that card, this particular card, really focuses on the vulnerable spots within. So those weak spots, those problem spots, those areas where we have hurts and wounds that really stay covered and nobody knows about it. We keep them hidden, right? So those spots that maybe aren't necessarily really open to sharing or talking about with people, because lots of times that's a very personal areas or personal topics, and not just anybody would qualify in your mind to be able to have to talk about. So it has to be, someone with trustworthy friends or those kind of things, or professional help or counselors, or take it as it lands. But those hurtful spots, those weak spots, those maybe those spots that maybe have created hardships, burdens within, and often that's around those mental and emotional areas. So the hurts and wounds from the past that we tend to bury, just try to ignore, to try to avoid, those kind of things. So this particular card that's what it's focusing on. It's like, it takes more energy really to bury it, avoid it, run away from it, than it does actually probably to sit and deal with it, unfortunately. But it does take a lot of energy to avoid those things. So it actually touches on, are you dealing with your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, your sore spots, your emotional sore spots, those kind of things, or are you avoiding and evading them? So, and it also makes a mention, if you are avoiding and evading, are you masking them with bad habits? So shopping sprees, drinking, drugs, anything to create basically unhealthy escapism, etc. That's exactly what that is. And we actually are sitting in a time zone with a heavy Piscean energy floating around, and that is very well known on the dark or the shadow side for evading bad habits and addictions, right? To avoid dealing with what the problem is. So, that can be loss, that can be grief, that can be lost loved one, that can be a breakdown and a breakup and a division or a separation or divorce of a relationship. Take it as it lands. It can be absolutely anything, and no one's life is perfect. That's the way it is. We all have these sore spots, and it's just basically saying, be open, be vulnerable, and start looking at these sore spots. And the sooner you look at them, the sooner you deal with them in positive ways, the better off things will be. And eventually it starts a process of healing and and getting better. And then pretty soon those roadblocks within, these are internal conflicts, by the way. So when you talk about all these personal things, it's specifically targeting the sore spots within, and that often is relationship with self and the conflicts within. It's not necessarily conflict with others. It can be, but for the most part this is focusing on inner self conflict. So whatever that means to you, wherever that stands for you, it's not always the easiest. I mean, we've all been there, done it with something going on. And, I always remember hearing this saying and reading it. It's and going through, a few things myself, but it's, when you can sit and talk about the hurts, the wounds, emotional, mental wounds, or whatever was going on, that weakness, that inner conflict, that inner problem that's kind of stays kind of hidden. When you can talk about it without breaking down, you know you're on your path to healing, or you are healed with it. So just keep that in mind. That every time I read that and every time I heard that, that really stuck with me because it made a lot of sense. You know what? If it still bothered you, you'd be still upset or, breaking down. But when you can talk about it, you're well on your way to healing if you're not already there. So keep that in mind. That's the benefit, right? And when you are healed and you do deal with things and you do make an attempt or keep on attempting to heal things, it lessens the energy that it takes to avoid it or evade it or ignore it. And then when that's done, you can pour your energy into something more positive, moving forward, moving on. And essentially paying attention to your vulnerabilities, the sore spots, and, looking at them, acknowledging them. And once they're acknowledged and once they're identified, and then the question is, okay, what are we going to do about it? And that particular what are we going to do about it thing is going to be slightly different for everybody, because maybe some people can mull it around and fix these areas themselves. Some people might need friends or family to help. Some people might prefer going to professional help. Take it as it lands and choose what's appropriate. But make it fit accordingly in life. And so this part too, this is part of the thing too. This came up too, was healing. And these cards really go hand in hand. So I'm just going to read the cards to you because this does not come with a book. I love this deck. So healing. Your body, mind, soul are in a period of deep healing right now. You are going through many transformations at once, and you are being asked to allow yourself to receive the healing you need with open arms and an open heart. These two cards, you couldn't get two better cards going hand in hand. There is deep healing within that needs, that's needed. Again, like problems within. Conflict within. And this might even be a relationship to self issue, something going on there. But there's healing needed. You take it as it lands, apply it appropriately. But there's something, or maybe a few things going on here. Now remember, this can also pertain to physical healing. So whether you physical ailments, you're broken, it could be physical. Maybe sprained ankles. It can be illness, sickness, disease. It can be viruses. It can be infections. It can be anything. So not only is it mental, emotional, it can be physical ailments, physical sickness. Maybe you're in and out of the hospital, those kind of things. And we are sitting in a time zone of infections, bacterial infections, fungal infections, viruses, those kind of weird things going on. So you could be looking at something like that too. And again, allowing the time and space, and the self-love too is that, is don't beat yourself up. You are just as important as anybody else, as a next door neighbor, and you are allowed to take time to heal the self within, physically, mentally, emotionally. This can also actually pertain to financially as well too. I'm not going to leave that out because it doesn't really omit that. So it could be financial healing as well. And remember, you are not productive unless you're healing or in the process of healing or healthy. So just take that as it lands, apply it appropriately. And this is a very nice card, Miracles. And when these cards flipped up, it almost made me think of a miracle healing. So take that as it lands. It was just the capacity to love and healing and miracles. So again, that can be miracle healing or the miracle answer to healing, or finding that miracle person and able to help you order to heal, something like that. But it also pertains to just general miracles all along, any way, shape, or form, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. It can be abundance. And remember, health is definitely abundance, because if we don't have health, we don't have a goddamn thing. You can't buy health. So that's one of those things, that body, that mind, that soul needs to be in proper running order, because guess what? That's your unit, that's your vessel, that's your body. You only get one to live in this particular lifetime. So keep that in mind. So miracles, I'll just read the card. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to all the big and small miracles that have already occurred in your life, and also to these that are currently occurring and are still to come. Miracles surround you. Be on the lookout for them. In this particular reading, these two, it's almost like a dual reading. There's two messages here. There's healing, those sore spots, those burdens, the health, the illness, the wellness, whatever, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. But there's also the miracle thing of bringing something to light, bringing something to fruition. Why I say that is because we have the electric eel spirit. This is really a cool card. bringing your ideas to life. So this, this is almost like the miracle entrepreneurship, or it's like once you get yourself healed and you're well on your way, then you're going to move into something that there's like a miracle entrepreneurship job, career, title, status, a project, an idea, something that you take off with. Or if I wanted to actually mix these set of cards, it could be whatever story that you are holding within for your healing, your illness, your disease, infection, whatever your story is, whether it's relationship, physical ailments or sickness, anything like that, mental illness, sickness, or it could be you taking what your experience was in those hurts and wounded spots in life, turning it into an idea, a project, or maybe even writing a book or something like, and turning that into your next entrepreneurial career or job or something like that. It's like, often that's where people's ideas come. They experience this. They've went through this. They've grown through this. It could be, a financial hardship that they've overcome. Now I'm going to write a book about it, or I'm going to counsel people about it. It can be emotional health or support groups. So for example, illness, sickness, disease, take it as it lands, infections, viruses, maybe something you've learned in the medical world, something you've learned in the holistic world. And then you think, hey, you know what? I went through this. I was sick. I healed myself, or I got help. I got wellness. It completed its circle. It was a problem. I've completed it. It's come to full circle. Now, you know what? I just have the brilliant idea that I'm going to do something with this, right? Because I can help others. I can do something for somebody else. And that becomes your kind of like your electric eel, bring your idea to life. It's a miracle, right? It wasn't a miracle going through it, of course, but when it comes to completion, healing, wellness, bringing yourself, your health, mentally, emotionally, physically back up to 100%, operating status, then you know what? All of a sudden you come up with a lightning strike idea, and that's how these would fit together. Or it can be healing and wellness, and then you're feeling well enough to go start a different job, start a different career. I have a new idea. I have a new project. I'm going to go in a different direction in life. I have a new interest in life, and then you bolt with that. You jump on that idea ship, right? And again, there could just be specific miracles that are coming in to help push you along. Miracles can also include money, abundance, anything material gain, those kind of things. And also a miracle can be somebody stepping into your life to help you. Don't forget that, because people are quite miraculous themselves. It's kind of when maybe you're down and out and you just think that maybe there's just nobody that you could turn to. All of a sudden this person, maybe you forgot about them, or maybe it's somebody, a stranger on the street, or somebody you approach. That person, that one important person that makes all the difference in the world. That person is different for all of us, okay? And remember, if you're the healthy one and maybe somebody asks you for help, you might want to consider doing that, because you might be their miracle, right? This can go both ways. You can be the unhealthy, the illness, those kind of things, but you can also be the healthy, the person who's been there, done that, coming in to help somebody, okay? Apply it accordingly, but this is really, really quite a special reading because there's so much energy that goes with it. It's like a hardship that turns into abundance, or a new career cycle, or new projects, new ideas, but it didn't come without hardship. And again, it can be just healing with health, wellness, being tuned in and start paying attention to your physical ailments or your physical needs or your sickness, those kind of things. And finally, instead of evading them, start facing it and start doing something about it. So for example, if applies to nobody, it's just an example to understand, maybe diabetic. Maybe you're on the border of being diabetic and having diabetes. All of a sudden, the light goes on. I better shape up. I better get things together. Stop avoiding, stop evading, stop ignoring, doing something about this before it turns into diabetes. Those kind of things, okay? Those kind of, it's just can be anything under the sun. It can be applied so many different ways, but it's a beautiful reading of, basically paying attention and taking note and doing something about whatever's wrong here. Identifying, acknowledging, doing something about it to make it better. And then again, these miracles, it just seems like once you focus on that, you face your vulnerabilities, you face your hurts, your wounds, all of a sudden everything changes. The miracles start coming in, and then all of a sudden it's like you have that light bulb moment for that idea, that project, that job, that career, a flash of insight. Again, electrical eel spirit. When I say electric, that means to me that's so Uranus linked, it's not funny. It's like the flashes of insight that's beyond the five senses. That's like the third eye. Seeing those dreams, visions, ideas, projects in your dreams, keeping a dream journal, writing it down. A very, very, very nice spread here, but it takes inner work, and it takes your time and your energy to look at these problem spots. And something else I'd like to say too to these readings is lots of times these problem areas in life, however it unfolds or whatever it is, however it pertains to you, often these can be generational karmas that tend to follow family lines, family generations, right? So here's the thing. This is what I like to point out to people, because I think a lot of people probably never think of this. If you were sent here in this particular lifetime and you have these generational karmic debt, okay, and you keep on living through it, you keep on avoiding it, you keep on evading it, and you never do conquer and battle and correct and fix the generational karma, guess what? The next lifetime, you're going to do it again. So as soon as I say that, then sometimes people's perceptions and ideas and views and opinions change when I say that. So that's why you want to clear as much karma, as much karmic debt or generational karma as you can in these lifetimes. Because if you don't, guess what? You're saddled with it again. So that right there alone should be a lot of incentive. And most of the time when all these things get tended to, they get identified, they get acknowledged, they get healed, they get fixed, they get repaired, you'd be surprised at how fast you can grow in life and what opportunities come in life. Remember, the divine, the universe, the cosmos, your God, whoever that is to you, is always watching, right? And you're always going to get that pat on the back for doing something good or fixing something or repairing something. And that also includes a pay it forward, right? Pay it forward or helping somebody always comes back to you in tenfold. So just think about that. So there's work to be done, and don't kid yourself. We all have these areas, whether they're big or small, these little things that need to be ironed out, fixed, healed, conquer addictions. That's another thing I never mentioned here. This could actually pertain to addictions as well. So, you know what? Acknowledging, do you have a problem? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Apply it accordingly again. But that could be conquering that addiction problem. Again, I do mention addictions because, again, we're swimming in heavy, heavy, heavy Pisces energy. And that is the dark shadow side of Pisces, is heavy addictions of any kind. And remember, addictions aren't always drugs. They aren't always alcohol. They can be sex addictions. They can be workaholic. Working can be a very serious addiction, those kind of things too, right? Any sort of addiction you can think of it applies here. So take it as it lands. This is really, being open and honest with yourself and having an open heart, having a good relationship with self, acknowledging, identifying, doing or making plans for methods of healing for various types, however it applies, and bringing that circle to a completion. And then again, starting on something, a new job, a new career, a new idea, being an entrepreneur for your own job, and this so just screams, helping others who have had similar problems in the past. It just screams that right across this reading, right? You take your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do something with this because I want to help somebody else, whoever has experienced this. I can help them. Been there, done that, It's like, been there, done that. Bought the t-shirt, made the t-shirt, whatever, right? Okay, so we will end our reading there. This is actually really, really a nice reading. And, may it bless you with some really, really, really amazing miracles. And even... I don't know what you consider miracles, but remember, health and wellness, that's a miracle itself, right? And without that, you don't have bugger all. So just something to think about. So we will end our reading now here. So I hope you enjoyed it. And so if you care to join me, I have 2 Facebook groups. It's C'est La Vie Astrology, Jump Into Its Rhythm, and that's Midnight Bisous. And I have the Midnight Bisous Tarot and Oracle, and you can find me on Facebook and join if you like. Anyway, I will sign off for now. So if the reading resonates, claim it, seal it with a midnight kiss. And if you don't like it, remember, we're always, always, always at free will choice. You can ditch it and leave it. So wishing you health, happiness, many mixed blessings. And until we talk again, stay happy, healthy, take care of yourself, and take care of each other. And right here, really take care of yourself on the inner level, right? However that applies. So good luck and enjoy. Bye for now.